Okay, so thanks everybody for joining another one of these brief Teams talks over lunch after convo. Today I wanted to just kind of talk about what the osteopathic resources that are available in our LWW Health Library collection. And I have probably shown different aspects of this before in other videos, but I was just going to spend just a few minutes today and just talk about just this one resource and all the things that can be found there and that can be done with it. As I usually do, I'll show you where you can find these. This is one of the resources we have under databases. This is not everything we have, but it's just we put a lot of our most popular databases here. You'll find the link to LWW there. And also, if you're looking for, if you go to our A to Z medical databases or you look through the course guides and textbooks, you'll find the link to it there as well. But you've probably seen this before. And this is the health library. It looks familiar to clerkship because we get both the clerkship collection and the health library from LWW. It's the same vendor. But a lot of our required textbooks are here that are probably familiar to you. Moore's clinically oriented anatomy, Grant's dissector, neuroanatomy. We used to use neuroanatomy in clinical context. But you'll see over here, you'll find books for anatomy, which could be useful for OMM, but we actually have the osteopathic core collection, which is an addition to the health library. And you'll find that we have a lot of our required osteopathic texts available here. They actually still have the old editions of some of the updated volumes that we use. So Osteopathic Approach to Diagnosis and Treatment, Atlas of Osteopathic Techniques, what a lot of the students call the FOM book, the Foundations of Osteopathic Medicine. We have the third and the fourth edition of that. Greenman's used to be a required or a suggested text. Not sure if it still is, but 5-minute osteopathic manipulative consult and the pocket manual of OMT are all here. And so students, a lot of times, if they want to know, we have ebooks of their required textbooks. This is where they can find electronic versions of a lot of their required osteopathic texts. And just to show what some of these things look like if we're going to look at the Atlas of Osteopathic Techniques, 4th edition, it's broken up by sections and chapters within the sections. Something that's nice about this resource is that if students are using ebooks, a lot of times I know faculty will assign readings in the textbook by page number, and not all of our resources have ebooks that match up the content of the electronic volume with the physical volume, so the page numbers don't match. Thankfully, in this resource, if you're assigning reading to students from any of these texts, it's going to have the page numbers. It's not a PDF. So like for required texts that are Elsevier publications that are in Clinical Key, they actually put PDF versions of their textbooks in the database. So it literally looks like a scan of the page. For these, it's still a electronic version, but at least they give you those page numbers. So if you're assigning that as a reading for a student, they can find that in the ebook, even though we don't have the PDF of those texts. Something I want to make sure everybody knows is, so if we go into, let's say, osteopathic static musculoskeletal examination, you can read through the content. You can also limit to just figures that are available in the resource. And I think I've showed this before, but you can actually, from here, you can download the slide for a PowerPoint. So if you're building a lecture, you can click on this link and it'll download a PowerPoint slide that you can then put into your lecture, and it's automatically going to have like the LWW Health Library, make the attribution when the date that you downloaded it. So it's kind of an easy way to make sure, if you're worried about making attribution for where you're getting your figures from, and also help you build your lecture slides for faculty. Yeah. Some of the other resources, this one does too. So you'll find there's 1,704 images. So if I'm just looking for images that I want to use for PowerPoints, or if I'm a student and want to use these to study, you'll see 1,704 images. I can just click on that link and it'll organize them all for me. And I believe it shows me the page number too, where those are found, but my computer's going kind of slow to show them. While we're waiting for that, you can also see, I was going to show that there's video and audio content that you can access for these resources, and these will be specific to this resource. So these images, these 283 video and audio resources are going to be from this book. Yeah, so it gives us the page numbers and these images, and again, I can download these. Oh, where'd it go? download them and add them to my PowerPoint slide. Something else that's kind of cool, I don't know if students would use this, but you can actually listen to this chapter. You can listen to the content be read to you. I know a lot of students watch lectures at like 1.5 speed, and that's how they study. I don't know if students would want to listen to it to study that way, but they can do that. So that's an option that's available. So when I showed you the audio and video that was available, there's also a link up here that says video and audio. And if you click on that, there's going to be 2 categories that I suppose you could use anatomy, but mostly I want to talk about the osteopathic medicine video and audio. And these are basically all videos, but they're I'm going to see if you guys can hear this. I'm not sure what Delushka is, but so you actually have these videos explaining the different parts of the anatomy and how they can be used in OMT. Can you guys hear this?
Looking at the anterior cervical spine,
Okay.
there's
So
another landmark that I wanted to talk about besides the transverse process of the atlas.
It's frustrating to me,
and that is
some resources, like in Clinical Key, I found a way that you can actually get that video and embed it into your PowerPoint, because sometimes the network things slow things down. Unfortunately for this resource, if you want to show this in a lecture, the best we can do is grab this link and paste it into the PowerPoint. So when we're giving our lecture, you can click on the link and it'll pull up this video in the resource and play it through a browser. But there's a bunch of these available. Not sure how many altogether, but a lot. But they are most of them are from this Atlas of Osteopathic Techniques, which has a pretty good library of them.
Yeah, the Nicholas's do a good job in this book.
Mm-hmm. This is more for students, but there's self-assessments available in here. And it's not a huge library. You have to sign in to get access to this. I can't remember if I...
You have to create a password, or do you use your LWW?
You do. It's free.
Gotcha.
And I can't remember my password. Okay, so I do know because I have accessed this recently, there are 96 questions available specifically dealing with OMT that students can use to quiz themselves. Again, it's not a huge library, but anything they can use. I know they love question banks and things like that. So there's 96 of those questions available in the self-assessment. They have to create a login. It's free. I'm not sure why it's not remembering my password, but the last thing that I wanted to show was cases. This isn't specifically about OMT, but they're anatomy cases, but I could see how they might be able to be used for OMT. You've got back case, abdomen, neck, pelvis and perineum, thorax and upper limb, which I guess they finished upper limb now, I think, but those are available in this resource too. So again, this is probably the most comprehensive, specifically osteopathic resource that we have. It's literally, we purchased this in addition to the regular health library through LWW, but there's all these books that we have available. A lot of them are required textbooks. There's a lot of anatomy, but there's also specifically the OMT collection that are a lot of the required textbooks that are available here. So that's basically all I wanted to show. I know it's not a lot, but I talked about different aspects of this resource in different videos. So I just thought I wanted to take 5 or 10 minutes and just show the specific osteopathic medicine content that was available and everything you can do with it through LWW.
Rob, a lot of the students buy a book that's published out of Florida. The author is Savarese. Is that among these books?
We don't have that as an electronic book. We have that in the library. We buy the physical volume. We've never been able to find a license, institutional license for ebook.
Gotcha. Okay.
What about Greenman's? Do you still have Greenman's or no?
Well,
Greenman's is here.
You have it, Lisa.
Oh, there it is. Sorry about that. I didn't see it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's because it was rewritten by his first resident, Lisa DiStefano.
Oh,
I met
cool.
her out in Michigan when I was there one time.
Yeah, he died in 2010, and she picked up the book and revamped it around that same time and to honor him.
Oh, well, that's cool. I didn't know that.
That's why it says Lisa DiStefano under it.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Well, thank you guys for your time. I appreciate it. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day.
This was
Thank
great,
you.
Rob. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Mhm.